Hello everybody and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. So where we left off in our last video was focused on just taking the system apart and preparing to get the motherboard ready and get the socket installed for the Dallas real-time clock. And so today we're actually going to perform the modification to this chip. So this chip particularly has two pins that are not exactly showing here, that are folded up inside, so to speak, on the side inside here, that are connected to the battery. There's actually a battery inside here. So what we're going to do is use the Dremel trick. Now keep in mind there are other modifications out there. Necroware is a very good, very awesome at what he does. He does have a modification that he's built, a PCB with a modification you can build yourself, that's a drop in, that you can just put the coin cell battery in. There's also other mods where you can actually, not a mod store, you can actually get a Dallas real-time chip that's more modern. I believe a company out there has taken over Dallas and has made the, or is making these chips that you can order and just drop them in. And so I don't have either of those here today. I am just showing another method of doing this, and this is a tried and true method. This is something that I've done historically, that I've seen online do. There's no right or wrong here. It's just what works. And what we're going to do is Dremel away in these two sections in pins 4 and pins 9, I believe it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sorry, 8. We're going to pins 4 and 8. We're going to Dremel away to expose the two contacts. Now, this contact here on this side that we're going to do is the negative part of the battery, and this is the positive part of the batteries on here. And what we're going to do is actually what we do is we punch the ground wire from the battery, so the negative side. So what we're going to do is, once we expose it, we're actually going to just punch through. So without further ado, let's go ahead and clean up the work surface and prepare to start to Dremel away at this. Okay, so we have the surface all prepared here, and I have the Dremel tool all ready to go, and just with a grinding disc, just to get access to pins 4 and 8 here, just to expose them. We don't need a lot of exposure, just enough to be able to solder on 2 leads, as well as to punch the pin on this side, just to break the circuit. Because ultimately, when we get the new battery in here, we don't want it to be trying to recharge or provide power to the other battery that's inside here. So yeah, let's just get going here. And again, if you decide to do this method, you do it so at your own risk, of course. You know, that fancy disclaimer stuff. Always make sure you're wearing goggles, safety glasses, just to be sure that you don't harm yourself doing this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just turn this on, and we'll go ahead and start the process. Okay, so as you can see, what we have here is the, when you look at it from this side of the chip, we have the negative side right here, which you can see goes right to the top, and then we have our positive side, which kind of stops here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch through just that side right here and break that. We're going to break that connection. We just don't want, again, as I mentioned, we don't want that going through. So I'm going to switch over my Dremel attachment, and we're going to get that separated there. And there we are. So if you see, you can see clearly that the two pieces of metal are now broken by using the other attachment. So we have our negative side, and this is the negative side, and then we have our positive side over here. So what we're going to do is, now that they're independent, we can actually hook up 2 leads going to this particular section. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean this up now, clean the surface and get this chip all set up, all cleaned up. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people that like to do the modification themselves, similar to what I did here. They like to go ahead and buy the modification already pre-done for them. Maybe they don't have a Dremel tool. Maybe they're just not familiar with doing this. And I just, like I said, I've done this a few times already on other machines, and it's just always has worked for me for what I'm trying to do here. You can clearly see now the break in the negative contact there. I am going to use my continuity tester as well, just because I want to be absolutely 100% sure. And we got to straighten some pins out here too. But yeah, I just do it this way. It just works. I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any difficulty doing this. Put it on the system. Some people like to glue the coin cell holder right onto the Dallas chip. I look at the configuration of the case. What room do I have working? What am I working with in terms of room? And do I want to create longer leads and have it mounted to the side of the case while it's inserted into the actual motherboard already, or do I want to just put it right on the chip? And again, it depends on the space available. Now, as you remember, this is so butted up, so close to the BIOS chip itself. I really don't want to do too much in terms of limiting myself and making it tight as I go. So let's just, before we continue, I'm just going to double check that continuity on that, just to be absolutely sure we're good to go here. Okay, so we have the multimeter out right now. I just want to make sure, and I have it set to continuity mode right now. And we're just absolutely quadruple checking that there's no contact between these 2 points. And you cannot hear anything. Like, these are working just fine. And you can see I'm touching both points. And there's no continuity whatsoever between either point that's now. So we're totally broken now. So we're ready to go to perform the rest of the mod. So I'm going to do is get the soldering gun ready to go. I'm going to get some wire leads created here, and we're going to go ahead and prepare doing that now. Okay, so we're all set up now, and we have our 2 wire leads that I just have spools of wire that I have, and I've gone ahead and just stripped the ends on them. And we have our coin cell holder that, again, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes people like to hot glue them on here and then run a wire from one lead from the positive side to the positive, and the negative side, they wrap it around and go there. Again, just concerned about the space on the motherboard with what I have, this type of button cell that I have. So I'm going to just extend the leads onto it to be this length. And ideally, once it's in the case, I can, affix it to the bottom of the case using Kapton tape or something, or to a side area. So again, just for what we're trying to do. And the modifications that I've referred to earlier that you can purchase, either a new chip or, a newer chip, or the modification like Necroware has, you can actually just, just pops right on the top. And generally that's pretty good based on the space that you're working with. But again, just what we're going to do today is just going to move forward with this. So we have our, as I mentioned earlier, our negative and our positive. So I'm just going to some little more solder there, and we'll call that done. then so on the other side, we have the coin cell, and so I did cut back a little bit of that wire, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip that to length, just so that we're all running on the same size here. There we go. And all right, so the positive on this particular coin cell holder is on this side, so that'll be this pin, and the negative is the bottom point of the coin cell, and of course that's over here. So we're just going to go ahead and solder on the positive side. So what I'm going to do is just wrap it around, much like we did before in our other video when we came to installing the external battery on the coin cell. So coin cell holder, sorry. So I'm just going to go ahead and we did that before on the other one as well. Okay, so here we have our mod, and so we have our coin cell leading to the Dallas chip, and so that's where you put the cell, and it goes to the leads here. So again, just confirming, this is the negative side, and this is the positive side. The positive side going to the positive part of the coin cell holder, and we on the other side we have our negative, which again goes all the way up to our negative lead on our coin cell holder as well, which is the bottom here as well. So the other thing I'm going to do, just for good measure, is just put some Kapton tape on there as well. All right, so we have our modification done, and I've gone ahead and placed the Kapton tape on the ends just to be absolutely sure there's no risk of any shorting out of the exposed contacts that are there. And the same thing with the back of the coin cell holder, just the same idea. Just go ahead and put some protective Kapton tape on the back, just non-conductive tape. So when we go ahead and we get back to the channel, this is it for today's video. We're going to go ahead and put the chip back in. We're going to go ahead and put the motherboard back into the system and put it all back together. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button to be notified of new content, such as like today's video and the next one coming up. And yeah, and thanks for spending the time with me today. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.